Welcome to the channel. Thank you for being here. Let's get to it. Last week I released my first video for this channel, and really it went out there. It got its analytics and it got some views. Some people stayed and watched the whole thing. Some people didn't, but there was maybe one of you commented it, but the comment was real. It was genuine. And even if it's just one genuine comment, that means the world to me. So thank you. And if you're new to this channel, I'm Jalen Fields, and I'm starting this journey with this YouTube channel to help not only myself, but others follow through and get past uncertainty, whatever it may be, wherever it lies in your life. That is the goal. My goal is to help you and help myself grow to the point to where uncertainty becomes the motivation, right? It gets in front of us and it's like, I don't know if I want to do that. But then we separate ourselves from that thought. We separate ourselves from I don't know if I should do that. And we think, oh, let me go towards it because there's something that is afraid of me, right? I like to contextualize it. I like to interpret it as this is an entity, right? Maybe a spiritual being, if you will, that is trying to keep me from doing what I need to do because of what I might accomplish. And I might accomplish helping one person. That's all. But that one person might do something greater than me. And then that person might spark somebody else to do something beyond our imagination. And that's the point, because we're in this ocean and life is this vast, vast abyss, if you will, of water. And all of our actions are just droplets in the collective consciousness, right? The fact that I'm even doing this and you're seeing it, you're having a reaction in your head, right? But my actions, this video, is making your mind have ripples and thinking, this guy might be interesting, or maybe I'm not. And to continue on, what we're moving towards is certainty, right? We're trying to get out of uncertainty into certainty, understanding the laws of human nature. And what I'm going to be running throughout this video series, this first season, if you will, is breaking down Robert Greene's The Laws of Human Nature. And why? Because I really, really think that we need it. I think that's why people are so quick to just yell hateful things, to celebrate the wrong things, or just not even understand why they're celebrating, not even understand why they're being moved the way they are moving emotionally, right? And to bring ourselves to a grounded, rational reality, right? I heard this quote, and it really, I've already committed to this, but it really solidified my commitment to this. And it was a quote that said, it was a comedian. I wish I remembered his name. Asian comedian. He said, okay, you would die for your country, right? But would you read a book for your country? And it makes you think, why would he say that? Because we're all so quick to be like, you know what? Those people are wrong. I'm going to get ready for a civil war. Yeah, let's get ready for a civil war. Let's do that. But I'm not going to read a book that might educate me on my own psychology and therefore also navigate through life, being able to read other people's psychological state. Reading this book, having this knowledge, having this wisdom, it doesn't make me better than anyone, no. But it brings a little bit of peace within and allows me to separate myself from the chaos. Because once we separate from the chaos, we can move forward. And we'll get into that later. This video will cover the first law of human nature, which is the law of rationality, facing uncertainty with clear eyes, which is the first law. of Human Nature by Robert Greene. We all like to think we're rational creatures, calm, logical, master planners of our own destiny. But if you've ever bought something dumb off of Amazon at 3 a.m., well, you already know the truth. Robert Greene wastes no time telling us rationality is mostly a mirage. As he puts it, we like to imagine ourselves in control of our destinies. This is an illusion. That illusion is what Greene calls the law of irrationality, the reality that most of our behavior, from how we vote, to how we love, to how we spiral at 2 a.m., to those dark places that we regret the morning after, it's all driven by emotion, bias, and impulse. The law isn't just pointing out a flaw, it's giving us a roadmap for how to survive. Life's greatest uncertainty, the storms of human behavior, collective fear, and our own inner chaos. So what does irrationality look like in the wild? Greene gives us a starter pack. Emotional contagion. Fear spreads faster than memes. Put one panicked person in a crowd and boom, it's chaos, right? You scream and you look over and maybe you jump, but then you see them running away and maybe somebody's playing a prank. Either way, it's all under the energy of chaos. Short-term bias. We chase immediate comfort, not long-term growth. Yes, that includes binge watching 3 seasons instead of maybe doing some homework or doing that extra bit of work you said you were going to do. Or maybe instead of sleeping. Rationalization. We act on emotion, then build a logical cover story. Basically, I didn't impulse buy the sneakers. They were an investment. We all know the truth behind that. Projection. We cast our fears, our insecurities onto others. Everyone becomes either a villain or a savior. And what I mean by that is this, right? I don't like the way I cut people off, right? This is hypothetical. Sometimes we all cut people off, but I don't like the way I cut people off. But somebody else cuts somebody else off, or somebody else cuts me off, and I get upset. I get upset. Why do I get upset? Because I'm projecting. Or I'm watching a show and there's a character and I really don't like this character because this, and this. But little do I know, I used to be and still haven't healed through or thought through or meditated through the process of understanding that I myself have 1, 2, 3 traits that this character in this TV show has. And obviously it's just a character. But all in all, everybody is a reflection of everybody. You are a reflection of me. I am a reflection of you. We're all a reflection of God. Anxiety breeds conclusions that become self-fulfilling. Fear of betrayal often creates betrayal, right? And I've fell under this, fearing that somebody might betray me while I'm betraying people or that very person, or I have betrayed them and I haven't forgiven myself, or I just haven't talked it through with them that I did it, and I'm thinking they're going to do the same to me. Right. There's process in that, but it's very irrational. Fear and paranoia. And if you look at what's happening in the world, maybe the emotional contagion, the short-term bias, the rationalization, the projection, the fear and paranoia is all because we're all doing the same thing on the opposite side of the spectrum. Because these things are the same bird, just 2 different wings, right? And if we're divided, then there must be something in the middle that we all see, right? We all see something in the middle, but we think this person's the enemy because they think that I'm the enemy. And then we throw all these extreme words around that make no sense, right? We throw them around because we think we know the definition. You don't really know something until you've actually experienced it, or you realize you have been exactly what you are calling other people. When you are calling other people names, it's more than likely you might have a tendency to be the very thing you are accusing others of. The point to all this is that irrationality is not rare. It's the default setting of humans, of animals. Remember, we are still animals. But rationality is not a gift. It's a discipline you train. Rationality is not a gift. It's a discipline that you train. Again, just like a samurai with his sword, or like a musician with his guitar. And here's where it hits. Uncertainty amplifies irrationality. When the world feels unstable, politics, money, relationships, even your own identity, we default to emotional reactions. We panic, we cling to authority, we scapegoat, we trade tomorrow for 5 minutes of comfort, right? We refuse to embrace suffering because we forgot that life is suffering. Something that helps remind me when I, even just saying that, I said, we forgot that we need to embrace suffering. We forgot that life is suffering. Is that I think of Native Americans in their prime. It's as if they had the complete understanding of life. They understood that they were animals. Let me rephrase that. They understood that we humans are all animals. That being said, stewards of the earth, like God telling Adam, hey, you are here to steward this planet. You are here to name all these animals. We're going to name them together. We're going to take care of them together. And then if you read about how Native Americans lived and hunted and used their resources when they gathered, if they killed an animal, they thanked the Creator. They used everything within that animal. They used the sac. They used the heart. They used all the organs for something. And they also used it as medicine, because why would God put us here and not give us medicine? It's interesting, right? I don't want to go off on that tangent. What I'm getting at is that an answer to this is to embrace suffering. And the Native Americans understood that by utilizing everything, but giving thanks and being grateful. Is there any such thing as a perfect animal? And when I say a perfect animal, I'm talking about myself. No. But the journey is what it's all about. And that brings us into Greene's prescription for rational living. Greene doesn't just say, good luck out there. He gives us kind of a mental boot camp. He starts with self-awareness. Recognize your emotional triggers. Hit pause before you hit send. Distance yourself. Step back from the noise, from the chaos. Because social storms will lose their power when you don't live inside them. And think of Yeshua, right? He'd always do a miracle. He'd always preach. He'd have a sermon. He'd do this and that. And then he'd go off and be by himself. Why is that? Maybe because when you're by yourself, the only person you're able to talk to and hear is God. And when I say God, I'm not saying the voice is coming from outside. I'm saying that your pineal gland that's located in the middle of your brain is like a Wi-Fi ping, right? You know, like Bluetooth to your speaker, Wi-Fi to your phone, pineal gland to God. Just, you got to quiet the mind and separate yourself so you can hear it. Examine the evidence, right? Demand receipts. Ask yourself and be honest with yourself. Ask God, sit there, eyes closed, even if it's on the edge of your bed. What do I really know? What do I need to do? What is it, or where am I at? And listen immediately and just breathe through it. Because if you just hold yourself, you're not gonna ingest it. You have to breathe in and out. And I promise it'll come to you, but you can't expect it to be an answer that you're gonna like. Because, again, embracing suffering, It might be you need to clean your entire house. You need to deep clean this thing because it's filthy. And you're thinking, I don't want to do that. And you might go do something else that distracts you. But what you need to understand is that doing that will clear so much energy. It'll clear your mental space. I'm not a professional, but I am speaking from experience. And I have heard many, 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 many other experiences that are the exact same thing. So when you get that evidence, continue that pattern. Continue to ask, what do I really know? If somebody comes at you and at first you see yourself getting angry, it's like, hold on, what do I know? I know that they're going through something. So I'm going to take a deep breath and I'm going to be like, oh, okay, look, and go from there. Next is thinking long term. Resist that dopamine hit. Resist the thought of, hey, maybe I want to hit this vape because I don't want to process or go through this pain right now because I don't have the mental fortitude. And sure, I might be calling some people out, but really I'm calling out my younger self, right? This person now is breaking time and space and speaking, hey, Jalen, quit smoking that because you don't need it. The more you smoke it, the more you're going to rely on it to calm your mind and calm your nerves versus allowing this natural body that is the most complex tool ever made to process the thoughts and process the information throughout your whole body so you can listen to it, listen to God, and get healthier. Because a healthy mind leads to a healthy life. Healthy lungs leads to a healthy life. And a healthy life leads to patience, because patience is a weapon. If you can sit there and calm yourself between the chaos, then you're good. You can use rationality to handle situations. And using that patience, you can master empathy. You understand how others are ruled by emotion so you don't get dragged under. That's mastering empathy. And here's where it feels very Gnostic Yeshua, because Greene is basically saying rationality isn't about killing emotion. You need to have emotion, but it's about mastering it. It's about feeling the flow of everything, like water. In the same way, Christ taught not to deny the flesh, but to transmute it. The Logos, which means the divine word, is reason cutting through chaos. And think of yin and yang, right? You have order and chaos. The black space is chaos. The white space is order. You have a white dot in the chaos, and you have a black dot in the order. Now, the line that separates the two, that's Christ. That is the line of reason. That is why he was in the church flipping tables and whipping people and yelling at them. This person who they thought they could walk all over because he was peaceful. Just because he's peaceful doesn't mean he doesn't know how to channel his emotion righteously. But you must be careful, because if you can do this, but if you aren't careful, it can be a very slippery slope. And you have to dial back and maybe walk away for a second. And it's okay to walk away. It is okay to walk away. Moving forward with uncertainty. So how do we live this out when uncertainty is everywhere? Well, Robert Greene points to a mindset shift. Accept uncertainty as normal. Life isn't predictable. Pretending it is only makes the collapse harder. I remember falling into this. I thought life was all great. Nothing could go wrong. I was super positive all the time. I was toxically positive all the time. And the fall was massive. But even when I fell, I never fell into a victim mind state. And I believe that was because I believed in the highest good. And that highest good was Christ. And I was figuring out my relationship with him. And I feel as if that understanding human nature is a perfect avenue to understanding Christ really. Because yes, you can read Christ, you can watch movies about Christ, but when you break down the psychology of a human and then you go back and read read about the stories about him and just talk with him through meditation or on walks, it's like, whoa, he was him. Finding that, right? In all of that, you get anchored into principle, because values last longer than moods. If you have a value and you stick to it and somebody tells you something different because they're in a mood or this or that, you can just be like, I'm good, and walk away, or choose to say no and not get peer pressured. And sometimes it's hard at first to get peer pressured. And sometimes it's hard at first, especially when you're peer pressured. But if you have a value and you stick to it, there you go. You have a spine. And if you have a strong spine, you can stand up for yourself, have some self-respect. And this separates the signal to God from noise, because not every headline is the apocalypse. I know lately, it really feels like the apocalypse. It really does. And let me tell you, Yeshua said it best: the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of God is found within. It will not be found outside of you. And this helps you build resilience through journaling and meditation and prayer, tools to stabilize the soul. And let me say this about prayer: don't overthink it. Don't think that God is judging you because you don't know how to pray. Don't think that God is judging you and thinking about sending you to hell because you can't think of the right words to say in your prayer. Talk to him like you talk to a homie, because your homie is also a reflection of God. Talk to him like he's your father. Talk to him in the sense of, you know, God as a family member, because all of that will stabilize your soul. Journaling, meditating, and praying. And if you don't know how to meditate, I know it can be like the thoughts won't stop coming. I just put a blindfold on, do some box breathing for 5 minutes. Count to 4 on the inhale, count to 4 at the top and hold it, count to 4 on the exhale, and count to 4 at the bottom. And just watch your thoughts, right? You are not your thoughts. Understand that thoughts are literally invisible energy, right? Emotion is the breakdown of 2 words: energy and motion. I didn't make that up. That's true. Energy and motion, emotion, right? So when you have thoughts going, it's because they're flowing in and out of your brain. But Yahweh is consciousness. Because if you stop breathing, what happens? You lose consciousness. But when you breathe, and you breathe intentionally, but not only breathe intentionally, you put it in a box. You put it in that 4 square. You're controlling your breathing. You're choosing to control your breathing. You will find that sense of calmness. And it creates this atmosphere of clarity. And that is how you stabilize the soul. It's just some tools. And after doing this, prepare for multiple futures, because a lot of things are going to come up. You'll have different ideas, and it's okay. Be flexible, because flexibility beats rigidity, right? Be like a palm tree. Palm trees bend really well with strong winds. And sometimes they'll just stay like that. They'll be like, all right, well, I'm going to lean this way. But some trees just snap because they don't know how to bend. And understand that uncertainty doesn't have to paralyze you. If you accept that irrationality is the default, you can train yourself to step aside from the stampede and carve your own deliberate path. And this is exactly the Christ parallel. Yeshua never promised certainty, only presence in the storm. His wisdom was never about escaping uncertainty, but about walking on water right in the middle of it. And the water is also a symbol. The water is the chaos in the world. His disciples wake him up. Rabbi, wake up. Wake up. How are you sleeping through the storm? And he's like, all right, y'all aren't going to understand anything I say, so I need to show you. And what'd he do? He walked on the water. He kept his eyes on God. I'm fine. Nothing's happening. Nothing's going to happen to me. Nothing's going to happen to them. And then Peter started to walk. Christ said, hey, keep your eyes on me. Keep your eyes on the highest good. Keep your eyes on the symbol in your life. Keep your eyes on the idea in your life. Keep your eyes on the vision you have for your life that is going to take you, your family, your friends, but specifically you to the highest good, the ultimate good. And I promise you, you will find peace in the chaos and walk on top of it. But the moment Peter took his eyes off of Christ, the moment he took his eyes off of that, he fell in the water. But Jesus didn't leave him there. He just, hey, take my hand. Come on. It's okay. You're forgiven. It's okay. We all fall short. We're all animals. We're all irrational. Rationality is not the default. Irrationality is. We're still animals. And the sooner we accept that, the sooner we humble ourselves to realize there's no way we're ever going to be perfect. Here's the closer. Greene's law of irrationality is both diagnosis and challenge. It tells us that irrationality will always be here, in us, in others, in society. But it also says rationality is possible. It's powerful. To move forward, we have to resist fear. Resist frenzy. Rationality isn't about shutting down emotions. It's about harnessing them, disciplining them, and aiming them at something higher. Uncertainty is not the enemy. Unexamined irrationality is. And if you want a blueprint, look at Christ in the Gnostic sense. Logos as reason, pneuma as spirit, both harmonized against chaos. He didn't escape irrational humanity. He embraced it. He faced it. He saw it clearly and chose love as his compass. That's the path forward. Not denial, not panic, clear eyes, steady heart, rational mind. Now that we've taken this first step, I want to hear from you guys in the comments. Was this video too long? Should I cut some things out? Should I just stick to the script, or do you enjoy it when I go off a little bit off script? Because I have a bullet script here, but I read it and that's how I go off. So I'd love to hear from you in the comments and all of that. In other words, appreciate you for sticking around, watching, and if you liked what you saw, hit subscribe, comment, and leave a like. Catch you on the flip side.